In this video, we're talking about circles, the equations of a circle. A circle is the set of all points in a plane that are equidistant from a given fixed point called the center. A line segment determined by the center and any point on the circle is called the radius. Most of you are familiar with that from your geometry days. You have the center of the circle, then the distance from the center out to the circle itself is called the radius. If you remember, the segment that goes all the way through the center and touches the circle on both sides, or twice the length of the radius, is called the diameter. Now, a circle is one of the graphs that we call one of the conic sections because you can form it from passing a plane through a cone. But what you need to focus on is the standard form of a circle. X minus h value squared plus y minus the k value squared equals r squared. If your equation is in what we call the standard form, then you can look at that equation and pick out the center point. The center is the point hk. Notice the standard form has a minus sign here. So if this was x minus 3, your center would be 3. H would be 3. If it was y minus 6, k would be 6. However, if this was a plus sign, you would have to think of that as x minus a negative number. So to get the h out, you take the negative of it. X plus 3 squared would be negative 3 for your h value. And whatever you have on the right, the constant that you get on the right, the square root of that number is the radius of the circle. So you would have to take the square root of whatever the number on the right is in order to find the radius. So let's play around with that form and see what it looks like. Find the center and length of the radius of the given circle. So in these two equations, they're already in standard form. So we should be able to just pick out the h and k and then find the radius just from looking. It shouldn't take us very long to do so. So hk, h is always with the x. K is always with the y. So in this one, the center point, since it's x minus 2, that was the correct form from the standard form. So 2 is the x coordinate. But the k, since it's plus sign, is y minus a negative 5. So negative 5 is the k value. The center of this circle would be the point 2, negative 5. The radius is equal to the square root of the constant on the right side. So square root of 4, which would be 2. So all of the points on the circle are actually 2 units from the center point, 2, negative 5. The radius is of length 2. So let's try this next one here to see if we can just pick out the center and the radius. The center point, if I use hk, would be a negative 1. K, since it's y minus 4, would just be 4. And the radius would be the square root of 36, which comes out to be 6. Let's reverse the process here now. If I give you the coordinates of the center and the radius, could you write the equation? So we know the form of the equation is started off wrong. X minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So I'm going to plug in for the center 0 for the h and 5 for the k. So let's just see what we get here. If I have x minus 0 squared plus y minus 5 squared equal to 2 squared. Now in this case, x minus 0, I don't have to leave it like that. That's kind of silly. X minus 0 is just x. So x squared plus, we'll leave y minus 5 squared, like in the form it's in, equal to 4. So that is the equation in standard form for my circle with those conditions. Let's do another one like that. Your center at hk, so h is negative 1 and k is 3. So x minus h, so minus negative 1 will become plus 1. And then y minus k, so minus 3 squared, equals the radius 4 squared. So my equation is x plus 1 squared plus y minus 3 squared equals 4 squared, which is 16. Pretty easy formula to follow. Sometimes the equation of a circle will be given to you in what we call the general form, and this is one of those. The general form of this equation is when everything has been expanded out. This is not in standard form. And one way you can tell it's going to be a circle is you have an x squared and a y squared in your equation, and they are both positive with the same coefficients. That lets me know this is going to be a circle. Now, if we want to get this in standard form, it's pretty simple to do. Group your x values together, so x squared minus 8x, and I'm going to leave myself some space in that grouping because we're going to come back and complete the square. Plus, I'm going to group my y's together, so I have y squared plus 10y, and again I'm going to leave myself some room. And the 16 that we have here already, I'm just going to move that out of the way. We're going to move it to the other side. So subtract 16 and make that minus 16. Now, if you remember completing the square from previous work you have done in algebra courses, what you do is you take the middle term, so in this case the 8, you take half of it, and then you square it. So half of 8 is 4. 4 squared is 16. So with that new number, I'm going to add 16 into that grouping. And to balance it, I'm going to add it on the right side of the equation as well. And now we're going to do the same thing for the y grouping. So half of the middle number, so half of 10 would be 5, and then 5 squared would be 25. So I'm going to add 25 to both sides. Now when you complete the square, if you remember, it makes a perfect square. So two numbers that would multiply to give me 16, but add to give me minus 8, that would be x minus 4 and x minus 4. So x minus 4 squared. Plus y squared plus 10y plus 25. Two numbers that multiply to give me 25, add to give me 10. That would be y plus 5 and y plus 5, or y plus 5 squared. Equal to, what happens on the right side? Negative 16 plus 16 are going to add to 0 and then leave me just the 25. So in the instructions it said find the center and the length of the radius. So the center point, using my HK, H would be 4, K would be negative 5, so the center is 4, negative 5, and the radius would equal the square root of 25, which we know is 5. So you can go from the general form back to the standard form just by using the completing the square method. So let's do one more example like that, and let's graph the circle that we get. Okay, so I'm going to again group my x's and y's together. So x squared plus 4x, and I'm just going to leave myself some space. Y squared minus 6y, I'm going to leave myself some space, and I'm going to move that negative 23 to the right by adding it, so it'd be positive 23. Complete the square in each parentheses. Half of 4 is 2. 2 squared would be 4, so we'll add 4 to that one, and then balance it by adding 4. In the second grouping, half of 6 is 3. 3 squared is 9, so add 9 to both sides. So now factor it. You'll have two numbers that multiply to give you 4 and add to give you 4, so that's x plus 2 squared. Two numbers that multiply to give me 9, but add to give me negative 6, y minus 3 squared. And on the right side, 23 plus 4, that's 27. 27 plus 9 would be 36. So in this circle, my center is the point negative 2, 3. And the radius is the square root of 36, which we know is just 6 units. So to graph this, what I'll do first is plot my center point. So negative 2, 3 means I'm going to go to the left 2 and up 3. So here's the center point for your circle. The radius is 6 units. So I'm going to go out in 4 directions. I'm going to go out 6 units. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 units up. 6 units to the right. 6 units to the left. And 6 units down. And just draw the best circle you can. Of course, if you're going to get a compass out of your desk and use it, you might make a prettier circle, but that gives you kind of an idea of how you would graph the circle.